After hours of courtship, the men... Cough? Take uric syrup ubat batuk gamat dan madu plus. After several hours of waiting, the hornbills. Uric syrup ubat batuk gamat dan madu plus. It can relieve cough and phlegm. Urix.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. After several months of negotiations, the Prime Minister's office has announced that the East Coast Rail Link or ECRL project will proceed just with a reduced construction cost. In a statement today, the PMO stated that the construction cost of phases 1 and 2 of the ECRL have now been slashed to 44 billion ringgit, a reduction of 21.5 billion ringgit from its original cost of 65.5 billion. The PMO revealed that a supplementary agreement covering engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning aspects of the ECRL project between Malaysia Rail Link Sendirian Berhad and the China Communications Construction Company Limited has been inked. A press conference will be called on Monday with further details on this deal. Now, former Finance Minister Daim Zainuddin was reported by The Star to have said that the new link for the ECRL is 648 kilometers long. This is 40 kilometers shorter than the original route. He said that instead of 98 million ringgit per kilometer, the new cost is just 68 million ringgit per kilometer, and this is mainly how they managed to achieve the 21.5 billion ringgit savings. Daim, who was leading the renegotiation of the project with China in Beijing today, said that the 21.5 billion ringgit savings from the reduced cost of the ECRL is enough to build the Petronas Twin Towers twice over. The trip is ahead of Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad's visit to China at the end of this month for the second Belt and Road Initiative Forum. 2 security personnel were injured this morning when an explosion erupted at the Petronas Refinery and Petrochemical Integrated Development Building of the Pengerang Integrated Complex in Johor. A fire that followed the explosion was promptly brought under control and extinguished by the Emergency Fire and Response Team, who reportedly managed to do so within 30 minutes. An investigation is now underway and will be conducted by several state agencies, including Petronas themselves. Over 10 houses in the neighboring Kampung Lepau were believed to have been damaged in the blast. The 2 victims received outpatient treatment at the hospital. Over 50 plastic bags containing what appears to be marked Indonesian ballot papers were discovered at 2 locations in Bangi and Kajang just ahead of early voting for Indonesians residing overseas that will be taking place this Sunday. Online portal Detik.com quoted Kuala Lumpur Election Monitoring Committee Chief Yaza Azara as confirming the discovery of the ballot papers, which were marked in favor of Indonesia's President Joko Widodo and his running mate Ma'ruf Amin, as well as for several legislative candidates from parties in their coalition. Sources told Malaysia Kini that the total number of marked ballot papers found could be as high as 50,000, including those found at the second location in Sungai Tangkas, Bangi. Chief Justice Richard Melanjum retires today after serving 27 years in the judiciary. He was granted a 6-month extension after turning 66 in October last year, which expired today. Melanjum, the first Sabahan to serve as a Chief Justice, is known for, among others, a concept of a joint and group management, where the judges holding the top 4 posts in the judiciary were given equal power and responsibility in all matters pertaining to policy and inclusion in the management of the judiciary. In order to avoid any allegation and negative elements in the allocation of cases and the selection of a panel of judges, Melanjum introduced the selection of the panel of federal court judges by balloting to hear cases in the federal court. He also made changes regarding the number of judges to sit in the federal court panel to hear constitutional cases and public interest cases. This morning, at the launch of the Women's Aid Organization's latest report and public sector partnership, Deputy Minister of Women, Community and Family Development Hannah Yeoh brought up the topic of the recently launched Child Sex Offender Registry and how it appears to be underutilized. She then encouraged parents to check if a potential babysitter or a teacher has a prior record of child sexual offenses.
We also launched the Child Sex Offenders Registry. As child abuse could occur anywhere, be it in the hands of their own parents, in a nanny's home or in the children's shelter homes too. The Ministry has introduced a new system, Child Sex Offenders Registry, Sistem Semakan Pesalah Jenayah Seksual Terhadap Kanak-kanak. And our Deputy Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of our Women, Family and Community Development, had launched the system on the 26th of March, and it came into force on the 1st of April. Unfortunately, despite all the promotions we have done online, still very little people showed up to conduct those checks, and those checks are free. So we encourage public to visit any state or district JKM office and check by filling up a form if a potential babysitter or a school teacher has a prior record for child sexual offences. All that is required for the applicant to do is to submit a copy of the MyCard, and JKM will be able to inform if the owner of the MyCard has a record under the Child Act 2001 or not. And this check is free of charge. Because in our database now it's about 3,000 names, and this is based largely on Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017. We are hoping to build the database in the years to come, but I really encourage all of you to start using that system, start being proactive, because we put in a lot of hard work to ensure that this happens. So I appeal to all of you to encourage parents and people that you know to go and do those checks.
As the constituency of Rantau gears up for their polling day in tomorrow's state seat by-election, the Election Commission or EC today dismissed an allegation that it is biased and only enforced laws against one political party during the campaign period for the Rantau state by-election. EC chairperson Azhar Azizan Harun said that the campaign enforcement authorities received 16 reports of election offences involving the two political parties contesting the by-election. A total of 14 polling stations with 53 polling streams will be made available starting 8 AM tomorrow until 5:30 PM, with up to 20,793 voters eligible to cast their ballots. The Rantau by-election is a four-cornered contest between Dr. S. Treram of Pakatan Harapan, UMNO Deputy President and former Negeri Sembilan Menteri Besar Muhammad Hassan of Barisan Nasional, and two independent candidates being housewife R. Malavisi and former lecturer Muhammad Nur Yassin. You can catch our coverage of the polls tomorrow right here on KiniTV. And that's all from me today, ladies and gentlemen. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget to hit like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.
After hours of courtship, the male babbler. Cough? Take Uric Syrup Ubat Batuk Gamat dan Madu Plus. After several hours of waiting, the hornbills. Uric Syrup Ubat Batuk Gamat dan Madu Plus. It can relieve cough and phlegm. Urix.